Well, I've been covering Liverpool for 20 years now, just over, and I've never seen anything like I've just witnessed at Villa Park here today. Liverpool have been beaten by 7-2. It's the heaviest defeat in a league game since April 1963, when they lost by the same scoreline at Tottenham Hotspur. And to be perfectly honest, it could have been more. It could have been 12-13 for Aston Villa. The amount of chances that Liverpool gave away was almost obscene in a way. I mean, Liverpool did have a few chances themselves to add to the goals that they got, but say at half-time Liverpool were 4-1 down. It could easily have been a lot worse. It all started in the 5th minute when Adrian, who was playing in place of the injured Alisson Becker, who will be out, we now know, for up to 6 weeks, Adrian took a back pass from Andy Robertson, didn't deal with it properly, ended up attempting to aim it to Joe Gomez, who was one of several players who was very poor for Liverpool, and instead it went to Jack Grealish. He got onto the ball, put it inside, and Ollie Watkins got the first of what would end up being a hat-trick, and the first hat-trick Liverpool have conceded in the Premier League since Dimitar Berbatov scored a treble for Manchester United in September 2010. The second goal, I must admit, the fact that there's that many goals, I'm struggling to remember who actually got them in what way, but I think the second goal came after about midway through the first half. It was Ollie Watkins again. He ran at Joe Gomez, who made the mistake of letting him get into the area, and he fired off a good shot into the top corner. Then Liverpool got one back. Mohamed Salah scored, and it did look as though Liverpool were creating chances and they could have got back into the game. However, there was a shout for a penalty, which when Salah went over under a tackle from John McGinn, could have been given. You've seen them given, and with VAR, who knows what's going on with the decisions that they're making these days. But that perhaps would have distracted from what was a very, very poor Liverpool defensive performance if they'd have got back to 2-1, 2-2, something like that. It ended up being 3-1. First of 3 deflected goals that Aston Villa scored. John McGinn rattled in a shot which hit Virgil van Dijk and looped in, and it was for just a couple of minutes later a free kick routine that Aston Villa worked to the far post. Trezeguet ended up putting it across. He was on just onside, and Watkins tapped in for his hat-trick. So 4-1 at half-time. Jurgen Klopp decided to bring on Takumi Minamino for Naby Keita. To be honest, he could have basically substituted almost all of the players. They were all pretty awful. There were 1 or 2 exceptions. Salah was one who ended up getting another goal in the second half, but Aston Villa scored 2 more deflected goals from Ross Barkley and from the excellent Jack Grealish. He got another one towards the end, and that Villa hit the bar as well. So, as I say, Liverpool could have conceded more. Salah's goal was set up by Firmino. Firmino, though, didn't really do a lot. As I say, it wasn't just Gomez. There was Firmino, there was Fabinho, there was Gini Wijnaldum didn't really make much of an impression. Naby Keita played 45 minutes, didn't exactly do a lot. Diogo Jota was okay in the first half, disappeared in the second half. I mean, look at Liverpool's probably best player other than Salah was Andy Robertson, who kept on going down the left flank, and Minamino and Curtis Jones also did okay when they came on, brought a little bit of energy, but it was far too late to turn this game around. I mean, Liverpool have now conceded 11 goals this season. It took them 12 games in the Premier League last season to concede that many. And now they're going to be off for 2 weeks. The next game is Everton, who are the runaway Premier League leaders. Who'd have thought that a couple of weeks ago? And so that'll be a massive game. It always is a massive game, but it's going to be even bigger with Everton's tails up. Liverpool, going to be hurting from this, and the international break not giving Jurgen Klopp much time to actually work at, certainly defensively, the things that need to be worked at. I mean, we've got to bear in mind Sadio Mane wasn't playing, Thiago Alcantara wasn't playing, Jordan Henderson was on the bench, he didn't get on, and we mentioned Alisson Becker, so there were players missing for Liverpool. And now the decision for Jurgen Klopp really is to have a look on whether he feels as though there should be more strengthening in the day that remains in the transfer window. You look at the goalkeeper situation now that Alisson's going to be out. Does he need another goalkeeper? I mean, that'll be up to him. Adrian, in my view, the more he plays, not so much the worse he gets, but he's not being as impressive as he was at the start of his Liverpool career. And for me, the centre-back situation, they probably need one more to add a little bit of pressure on Joe Gomez's place, because he's up and down with the form. He was poor today, as I say, but he wasn't the only one. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. But in terms of this, it was a freak result at a freak time in football. So you've seen what happened to Manchester United today, what happened with Manchester City last week. We can expect more of this. I would imagine with fans here, this scoreline wouldn't have been that. I said that after the City game on Twitter when they lost, and United wouldn't have lost 6-1 had there been fans there. I think it is having an effect, and it's going to continue, and whoever wins the league, they're going to be losing 5 or 6 games this season at least. It's a very strange time, but one where Liverpool know that they've only got themselves to blame for what happened here.